Welcome, everybody. John Zager, johnzager.com. How is everyone this morning? It's a rainy morning on the eastern slope in Colorado. It started raining last evening actually, around 6, and it rained all night. And we got hail. We always get hail, you know that, eastern slope of Colorado. Everybody gets damaged. But it was just about dark. It started hailing. And luckily, I said a prayer. It only lasted maybe 15 minutes, and only a few minutes with what seemed to be pretty large hail. I'm in my truck right now, and I came out to see if there was any damage. I can't really tell, and I've looked at my Airstream, and I mean, probably nothing there. Both vehicles have had hail damage in the past, so I kind of have to differentiate what's from past and what's from now. But yeah, so it was raining. It's actually still kind of misting. It's supposed to rain for another couple hours, and then it's over. So, drinking my cup of coffee and enjoying that. So, I had a couple interesting things happen yesterday. Kind of wanted to get on and talk about them for a little bit. I don't know which one to do first, but so there's lots of people that seem to be on the internet that talk about the law of attraction is a common one, right? And how to manifest what you want in a little better, quicker fashion. And all that is really, really helpful. It's really good. I have this kind of sweater coat on, and I hope it's not making noise for you guys. But, and I kind of go on about self-healing, you know, the neuroscience behind self-healing. That's kind of my thing. And obviously the law of attraction and neuroscience. And I like talking about that stuff. You know, I've been doing all this since 68 or 69. That's a long time. And I still don't think I'm an authority on anything, but I've got a lot of hours in doing research, doing clinical work. So I feel okay about talking regarding those two topics anyway. And yesterday I made a mistake. Yesterday I did my podcast and my YouTube ranting and raving about the injustice of our current climate here in America with people and the goings on. I was pretty mad. I mean, I try not to cuss, but I was cussing yesterday, and I regret that. So yesterday, later in the evening or so, I like to listen to, you know, a few other people that I think are fairly knowledgeable about stuff. And there's a kid. He's a nice kid. he's educated himself pretty well, but he hit some roadblocks on the way growing up and with his family and going to school, and he ended up being successful, or so he says. I have no reason to disbelieve that. But he still resents some of the bumps in the road. And he normally does, and he does an excellent job. He normally just, does his law of attraction stuff and has real helpful information, and you can see he does some research to provide the scientific background to people, which is really the simplest way to explain things. And for the past month or thereabouts, he's been on this rant about government conspiracy and blah 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 blah, and how he keeps referencing to his bumps in the road with government and family and just a lot of stuff that is his stuff and not our stuff. But anyway, I've turned him off more recently because he just rants and he doesn't quite get it that he's angry. And so he covers that up with government conspiracy stuff and, a new awakening and, just crap. And so yesterday, because I was kind of fired up, I just wrote him a comment back that, maybe if you approach what you're talking about from a neuroscience standpoint, maybe it'll make some sense to you and to all of us listening. I'm not an authority. I please understand that, but seem to have enough time in that it was an honest response. And just to prove that he's so fired up this past month and angry and can't identify it, he sends me back not a response that I would expect to come from somebody who portrays himself in that manner of being successful and wealthy and blah blah blah. So I kind of let it go. But what it did is it just woke me up to, I don't want to be like that. Boy, I don't want to be like that. I can attribute a lot of his stuff to just being young and a kid, but it was out of line for me yesterday to get onto my rant. So, anyway, that's that. There's another thing that maybe tomorrow I'll talk about. Different subject, different area, but pretty important. Real important, actually. So, I just wanted to touch on a little bit of The Matrix, the movie, the documentary, and programming, how we are all programmed. And I'd like to connect it to the rioting and the attitudes that are going on across the country today. Because it probably fits, right? So if you remember The Matrix, it talks about how we are programmed, which is neuroscience. I mean, It's actually all neuroscience. We're programmed, and we've talked about this 112 times, but, from your mom's third trimester all the way up to about age 7, thereabouts, you are modeled behavior from adults, on how life is going to be. And you are given certain beliefs on how you should conduct yourself in different situations. An example would be, let's say your parents or your mother or somebody just had diabetes. I don't know, I'm making that up. And just hated all of the medical sundry that goes along with treatment of being diabetic. And she's angry at doctors and medicine and, the world, and why do I have diabetes, and which, why did you upload diabetes, I guess is the answer to that. But anyway, as a little kid, that's a modeling behavior to you that you have a choice to acquire or not. And you can either pick up that belief and take it into your life, and that's the way you're going to treat medicine and doctors and hospitals and, getting sick and, in a negative sort of way, which in turn just upregulates more negative medical issues, right? I mean, you all know that. So I've been watching the 5:30 news, and I normally don't, over the past couple months, based on the pandemic virus that is another whole thing that I've talked about, and you guys know my view on that. But the rioting, and why is it intensified? We're at day 13 today of the riots. Yesterday was 12. And they've been pretty intense. There's been a lot of damage, a lot of bloodshed, a lot of death, a lot of not thinking. Part of it is people are just getting paid to cause the damage from wealthy individuals in the world, and that's okay. I mean, if somebody would just stop that, it would alleviate a whole bunch of problem issues that come up in our country from time to time. But all these people out there rioting, raping and pillaging America on an elephant kind of idea. Where do you think their beliefs come from? They believe they're right, yes. They believe they're protesting for the right cause. That's a belief. That's a perception that they have. And where did that come from? Where did that come from? Somewhere along the line, when these people were, 7 and under, they were modeled some behaviors that created perceptions about right and wrong. Okay? And they bought it hook, line, and sinker. They agreed to the assumption that the right and wrong that they were taught is correct, possibly from their parents, maybe watching their parents, maybe listening to their parents, maybe observing their parents. And so when the time was ripe for them, they jumped on the bandwagon. And what we've been witnessing for the past 12 nights is the result of that. It's a program. They've been programmed. They've been programmed. And they don't have any current, recent beliefs of their own that are in conflict with the beliefs they grew up with. That make sense? Okay. So normally what would happen, and this is just from, 44, 45 years of clinical, stuff that I've done. Normally what would happen is that as they grew up and got older, they would maybe come up with some of their own belief systems that would be in conflict with the belief systems that they were given as a child. And that would start bothering them enough that they would seek counseling. Go find someone to just talk about, why am I so upset? Why do I just out of the sky blue have a panic attack? I don't even know when they're going to come on, but they just happen. Why is it sometime that I'm just so rageful? For no reason at all. I'm driving down the road and I observe something and I feel an enormous amount of rage. Well, all that stuff is just, you're creating different belief systems than what you were programmed with. Therefore, you're in conflict. Okay? So, the rioters are working off of that premise. They're working off of that premise. One of two things is probably happening. They're in the middle of conflict and they can't figure it out, so they just sense and feel that that's where they need to be, and maybe the answer they're looking for is somewhere in all of the protesting. Two, they just bought hook, line, and sinker what they were taught as little people, the belief systems and perceptions they took away into adulthood, and they're in agreement with all of that anger and rage. And they're just acting that out because they're supposed to. That's their program. So, I found myself yesterday feeling pretty angry. And obviously I'm in conflict with what I was brought up as a program and what my program is that I have in myself today. They're different. They're opposing each other. And so I end up in this rant yesterday, which only says to me, maybe I need to take a little better look at that and work on it. Now, the matrix, how it fits into the matrix, is that the matrix is nothing more than a program that you're given that I just explained and how you obtain it, right? That's the matrix. And you can continue to, as they say in the documentary, you can continue to take the blue pill, go to bed every night, get up every day and expect the same thing to happen. Yeah? Okay. Or you can take the red pill, become creative, change your belief systems, thus changing your programming. The majority of people, and this is science, has nothing to do with anything other than science. Science just talks about the majority of people seem to work out of the matrix from the program they were given as little people. And they take it into their adult life, and they either do come up with another belief system that goes into conflict with their original program, or they just accept the program they were given. That makes sense? So the majority of people just stay in the matrix. They just keep taking the blue pill over and over and over. I'm suggesting to you today to take the red pill. Now, the red and blue pill are just figuratively speaking, but the red pill represents you can become creative in your own belief systems, contrary to what you were given, and you can change and alter your life so that you don't upregulate disease, crime, violence, anger, sadness, depression. We don't have to feel that way. If you wanted to add a little spirituality to it, we are here to be people that are happy, have a sense of joy for the greater good, kind of a loving sort of people that are sensitive to people's needs. And as a return, as you read the Bible and stuff, if you're so inclined, it talks about we're really supposed to be prosperous. We're not supposed to live in lack, and we're not supposed to be down on the street and all that kind of stuff. So we have a choice to live a better life that was given to us by our Creator. Thus, we're taking the red pill and we're becoming creative in designing new beliefs that'll make our life run more smoothly. When you're watching the 5:30 news that's going on right now, take that into consideration or thought and ponder that. Meditate on that. Maybe we don't slow down enough to meditate on what's happening with that rage, with that conflict. Maybe it's okay to not keep the old program. Maybe it's best for you or for us right now to design a new program that has the joy, the happiness, the peace, the caring, the sensitivity, for the greater good. And if we can get our thinking going in that direction, we're out of the matrix. If we get enough people going in that direction, I don't know, would that alter the rioting or the protesting? If those people actually heard what I just had to say and were capable of being in some agreement with that, would they really have a need to be out there doing what they're doing? I mean, I don't want to see people get hurt or die, and that's wrong, and there needs to be justice done in those cases. But I'm not quite sure if you're working off of an old program, you're probably trying to intensify all of that. And maybe if you meditate along the lines of what I'm suggesting, you might be able to alter your program and change it to what we are really here for. And then I'm not so sure we need to be protesting and rioting in such a fashion. All right, everybody. Hope you all have a good day. I love the rain, so for me it's going to be a great day. And here's another thought, just in leaving. There's infinite possibilities that exist in your life today that fill in the blank. God bless everybody. Take care of one another, and I look forward to talking to y'all again real soon. Thanks a lot. See you. Bye.